Hi, I'm Jenna.
And I'm Mark.
And you're listening to
Cincinnati Zoo Tales.
Hi everyone, we're back with Cincinnati Zoo Tales, and I'm excited because I have one of my good friends and, of course, co-workers here, Angela Hatke. She is the Digital Engagement and Publicity Manager. So she's part of our PR marketing team. And unfortunately, Mark is not here today. And so we just wanted to throw a quick episode together, learn a little bit about Angela, who loves to work behind the scenes. And I mean, I call you the producer of this show. Oh. She's a producer of Cincinnati Zoo Tales in my mind, and makes this happen, took my dream and ran with it and put it on the internet. Well, I don't know how it works, the platforms. I'm very technologically challenged.
I'm here to help you.
Yes. Angela's my partner in crime and helps get things done, but we do all sorts of things together. So you have a little bit of a different story because you aren't an animal caretaker and you didn't necessarily grow up like, I want to work at a zoo. So how did you get your job, and did you know anything about it, or tell us kind of how you got started at the zoo when you weren't like, I want to work at a zoo from the very beginning of time.
Yeah, I grew up coming to the Cincinnati Zoo, and I would fight my brother to see the elephants first every single time. They're still my favorite animal.
What did he want to see first?
I didn't care. He wanted to see whatever I didn't want to see.
Of course.
So I was, it worked out. But so yeah, I grew up coming to the zoo. I spent the night here with Girl Scouts, and so I always loved the zoo, but I didn't even think that there was a job option for me because I am not that outdoorsy. I do not find snakes and turtles and save them like you do. I'm like, Jenna, help. But yeah, so I was friends with you before I worked here, and your husband told me about a job opening here, and I applied, and somehow I got it. So
now you have one of the best jobs because in my mind, you get to see the coolest stuff first thing. So you're a part of the new news stories, and honestly, for me, you do so much, but you run the best Instagram page in the country, probably,
thank you.
Right? I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, Angela's behind Instagram and shares all these amazing videos and pictures, and you get to be a part of some of them. Of course, some of them are sent to you, but if there's a baby hippo born, you'll be there and get to meet it and take pictures and take videos when it's appropriate and BB's fine. So
yeah, I get to share.
To deal with the poop.
I know. I get to share all of the cool stories, and I don't have to have the stress that you go through as a keeper. The hard, it's hard work still, but it's different.
Totally different.
I get to come in and take pictures and maybe get a cute video or anything of the animal, and then I leave where you have to stay and clean. So I'm sorry about that.
The dirty part. But you deal with the public and making sure that we are sharing all of the good news and all of the truth, and we're very transparent here these days. So you're sharing some of the hardships sometimes too.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard, but I think as a PR team in general, we're very transparent because I think I've only been here 7 years, which sounds like a long time, but for zoo people, it's not that long.
Yeah, it kind of depends who you're talking to.
So I loved following the zoo before I worked here, and I always had questions, and so I kind of just post what I think people would want to know, and we're definitely transparent here because we just like to share everything, maybe too much, but
no way. I think everyone
fun.
really appreciates it.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, we mentioned in the very first episode of this podcast, that we didn't used to share a baby was born until it was thriving and healthy because we didn't want to share the sad news. It wasn't we were trying to hide something going wrong. It was just,
it's sad.
No one wants that in their feed. But so, the fact that everyone got to follow along with Fiona since day one has kind of, made us what we are, and it really helped our social media pages. Facebook is huge. Instagram is huge. We're on Twitter. We have this podcast. TikTok. Yeah, you just hit 1 million followers on TikTok,
follow
right?
Us on TikTok. It's so fun.
So proud of you to hit 1 million. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Do you know how many followers are on Instagram?
Yeah, we have almost 700,000.
Wow.
I'm going for 1 million.
Yes.
So please follow us.
Yeah, if you're not on
post
Instagram,
all the cute stuff.
I feel like Instagram is a lot different because it's mostly pictures and videos. It's none of the stressful, combative, I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, it's just a different, I think each of our platforms specifically have a different audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun to get to do, we'll have the same pictures, my coworker who does Facebook and I, that we get to choose from, or videos, and it's funny to see what we post differently on different platforms.
I actually should know that, but I always wonder if you guys choose to post at the same time, or if you try and line them up, or if you try and have the same caption, or...
Not unless it's breaking news or something, you know,
Yeah.
like a baby's born. We definitely, and we do have wording that we try to stick to, you know, like, I don't know, just different terminology that we use, or, you know, keeping it positive. We definitely don't want to be like doom and gloom if we're talking about conservation. So we do have like, there's definitely like a method, but we don't have to post like the same thing at the same time.
Yeah. So I know the answer to this, but what's your favorite animal for everyone listening?
My favorite animal is specifically elephants, but Mai Tai, the elephant, I cry every time I see her. I love her so much.
She's the best. And we were actually considering going through like some of the Instagram questions you guys have sent in today, and one of them was, who is the sweetest animal? And I like really thought about it, and I don't think there's an answer other than Mai Tai, the elephant. Like, she is the sweetest animal there is. And she, I don't know, there's just something about her. If you look at her, she's so sweet and everyone loves her. So Mai Tai is your favorite animal, and then who's next?
Oh gosh.
I thought I knew the answer, but you don't.
Well, do you think it's Fiona?
Yes, I
Yeah,
assumed.
I love Fiona. I was going to say, because everyone says Fiona, I was going to say Isla, the Tamandua.
Oh, yeah.
I really love her, but I don't know, after Mai Tai, I love all of them.
Okay.
I saw the giraffe today. They like sniffed my hand, and it was so cool. I love all the animals. But yeah, Fiona and Isla are up there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of Isla, but of course she's a lot of people's favorites,
Yeah.
and I can see why, for sure.
And Dale the Talkin'.
Oh, yeah.
Really has my heart, but he's at a different zoo now. But
Yeah, he was super
he was
cute.
my favorite.
Aw. And I think you should tell everyone about your experience with Fiona.
Well, thanks to Jenna and your team for letting us in there, but we got to document Fiona because we were posting every day in the beginning of her life and sharing all the updates. And so my team, including me, I got to go in and help take care of Fiona. I say that loosely because you guys did all the hard work, but I was in there like every day trying to get pictures, and you still had other animals to take care of. And so it kind of started off like, will you just sit in here for a minute and just keep an eye on her and sit next to her and make sure her oxygen doesn't come out? And I was like, yes.
Twist my arm.
Yeah. And then it just evolved, and it was like, can you stay for like 5 hours after work until Teresa gets here for the night shift? And I'm like, yes, please.
So yeah, you and the PR team like became Team Fiona with us,
Yes.
and we called you babysitters. I don't know how you guys felt about that,
I
but it was
liked it,
like,
yeah.
you didn't have to like worry about much of the medical or like the feeding or anything, but you guys just watched her and could call us or radio us if we were with another animal or a group of animals.
Yeah. And then we got to swim with her, and it really helped our marketing and sharing the story as well, because, you know, we were there for all of the big moments, so we were able to share it, which is insane access that you guys gave us, and it was really neat to. I did a Facebook Live with you and Wendy in the pool, like while
That
I was
was like
there.
one of my favorite
Me too.
memories ever. That was the
Yeah,
best.
I had my
time.
waterproof case. I'm like, I don't know if this will work, and it did. It was fun.
Nothing better.
I
you
missed
know,
that.
I know. We really hope this new baby that BB is about to have any day now. It's July 2022. She could have the baby any day between now and August 15th, most likely, of 2022. So if you're listening to this in the future, we're not sure the baby's here yet or not. But that's going to be the hardest part, is like not getting to interact with this baby like we did Fiona.
Well, I've already volunteered. If you do need any help at all, I will be glad to come sit with the baby and watch.
And then we've spent a lot of time together doing cameos. So for anyone who doesn't know, Cameo is this app or this opportunity to basically hire a celebrity. And of course, Fiona is recognized as a celebrity, and have them send you a personal message. So Angela records and does the technology side of everything while I speak and feed Fiona. So you can get a personalized message from Fiona, send to your loved one, send to a Fiona fan, a birthday celebration, that sort of thing. And didn't you send information like she's the #1 requested animal?
She is, yeah.
I mean, there's like Doug the Pug. I don't know the other like popular or famous animals.
Yeah, we are #1. She's a #1 animal. We also have cheetahs on there and Rico the porcupine.
Oh
if you
yes,
wanna get
Rico has some
cameos.
big fans.
Yeah, but we've done over 2,000 cameos, and the requests are out there sometimes. Sometimes they're just birthday messages, but it's really fun, and it's an excuse for me to get to see you and Fiona weekly, so I like it.
There was one week we were doing like 84. She was so popular,
Yeah.
and we had to raise the price because we just like couldn't keep up with the
Yeah.
demand. And Fiona has to participate. Like
She would swim away.
I was
I'm
like, oh,
"Come
we
back."
can't do anymore. So yeah, Cameo is something else that you handle, and press releases and news interviews and working with, all sorts of public relations sort of things, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite part of the job?
I really love meeting the animals and the care team. I think that's really fun because you guys are so excited about the animals, and then I get really excited. I'm like, because I know like nothing about the animals, so I'm like, tell me more. So that's really fun to get. Like, I was excited about like birds at one point. Like, whatever the keeper like gets me excited about, I'm like, that is awesome. Right now it's a corpse flower.
Oh,
we have our corpse flowers getting ready to bloom. I know more about corpse flowers than I ever thought I would.
Tell us, do they bloom just once a year?
It's usually like once every 5 to 10 years, and it only
5 to 10 years?
Yeah, and it only lasts like 24 to 36 hours.
That's insane.
And right now, July 20th, it has like maybe like we think it's like 4 more days marketing.
Okay.
We're guessing, but it could be a week. But
Wow.
and it'll just be stinky for 36 hours or 24.
Wow. And then it somehow attracts enough pollinators to go and pollinate another one, and then 5 years later, it blooms again.
Yeah, and the other thing is we're working with the Chicago Botanic Garden, and they're going to try to send us pollen so we can help pollinate it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have an episode with one of the horticulture teams to come, somebody from the team to come talk to us.
Because it's so rare. Like, I was up there today, and people are just, like, coming in to see it, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know where they're found?
Yeah, in Sumatra.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I might have seen one when I was there.
Oh,
If it's
yeah.
the same thing that I'm thinking of.
Probably.
I should know that. Very
should.
cool.
I should go with you
I
next
should
time.
know it. Yeah.
I'll help you.
You can teach me about it. Oh, man.
Yeah, we went to Africa together.
Yeah. We've had a lot of fun times together with the zoo, with a bunch of zoo people. It wasn't a zoo sponsored trip, but the zoo organized it, and we got to go to Tanzania, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever done. But, I mean, your job, I think, is really cool, and
It is fun.
it's like, when I'm too old and can't move my body anymore, I would want to be on your team. But you do so many things that I just have no idea what to do. And
I would have to help you with the technical side.
She's like, Jenna's terrible at this.
I would hire you, though. You're hired.
Thanks. But we work together with, like, zookeepers in general. Our job is to find things that would be worth promoting, and we're sharing and taking those pictures. So we are also sending some of those. I know one of the questions was, where do these pictures come from on Instagram? Who gets to take them? Who's in charge? And that's like a group effort for sure. So there are sometimes when we specifically ask you guys to come and take the photos while we're working with the animals, or you ask us to work with the animals while you take them, or we have, Pat, our videographer, come. We have people just sending you things, and you using them as you like have time or you see fit or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's fun that you guys are always willing to just like jump on an opportunity. So I'm like, hey, I have 10 extra minutes. Do you want to do a quick video with the hippos? And you're like, yeah,
Yes, whatever you want. Yeah. It's fun. And it's fun getting to decide like what photos to use on what platform and when to share them and when not. So that's a fun part of my job, I think.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's like the hardest part of your job?
There's like my job's a lot of scheduling. And so it's like,
oh yeah.
If the news will be like, I want to come here in 10 minutes, what can we do? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, we have plenty of stories to tell. It's just sometimes last minute and trying to get everyone on the same page for, coordinating. But I like that part too, but it is kind of, all we do is ask the keepers for their time. So I'm like, how can I spread this out? What can I ask for? But it's still a fun part.
Very cool.
But that is, and you always have trolls. So it's not, I have thicker skin now about that than I did, but you just have to learn to like ignore them, and it's okay.
I find myself reading comments too
You
often.
get too
sometimes.
mad.
Yep, and I'm like, why would they say this? Why
Yeah.
would they think this? And Angela's probably like, stop texting me.
No, I try to respond for you, but yeah, sometimes you just have to ignore it. Like some are just nonsensical or unrelated.
Why can't people just be nice?
Yeah, we have mostly nice people.
Yes.
It's usually when the posts get like viral or bigger than our main audience that we get people that just
makes sense.
don't know the backstory and have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Comments. Yeah.
Be nice on the internet,
Yes,
everyone.
be nice to me. It's just me. You're tweeting or messaging.
It's a real human behind this. Oh, man. Well, okay, so speaking of your job and Instagram and things, we pulled some questions that people had sent in when we asked them to a while back, and we just thought we'd do a quick episode. Since Mark isn't here, we thought we'd get one in and have something to share for you guys and just maybe answer some of these that don't even necessarily go together, but I'll do my best to answer them if you want to throw any at me.
Yeah, of course. We have a lot here. It's hard to decide.
Or you can answer them too if any of them.
No, you're the expert.
Not necessarily.
Jeannie asked, was BB's pregnancy planned, and why did Tucker join the family?
So we talked about this plenty of times if you followed it along, but BB is pregnant with Tucker. He came from San Francisco Zoo and was recommended based on our species survival plan to be a good match for BB genetically, and he had been alone at the San Francisco Zoo for like 10 years. So it was a good time to, bring him back to being a social hippo. And also BB is, 23. She had Fiona 5.5 years ago. So it's time she can breed again. We have the space. We have a fantastic habitat. It's beautiful. And we wanted Tucker to be happy. So she was on birth control. We weren't necessarily hoping to have a baby right away. We were kind of learning to manage 3 hippos at once and hoping they would all get along. And BB and Tucker get along fine, but I wouldn't say they're best friends at this point. BB's still a little bossy and like, this is my home. But Fiona and Tucker are getting along so well. Tucker was brought here for breeding purposes. We try and spread out genetic diversity, and it's fine that baby's pregnant now. But yeah, we definitely didn't plan for it to be this soon, but they found a way, and we are now really excited for a baby.
So excited. Speaking of that baby, do you have any name ideas?
Oh, you know what? Our only name idea was taken.
I know.
So we were playing around with the idea. My coworker Molly came up with this cute idea. If it were a baby girl hippo, we thought about naming it Whoops-a-Daisy because, like I said, BB was on birth control. But as you probably have heard, our cat ambassador team is currently raising a cheetah named Rosie, and all of you, the public, voted on the puppy companion to be named Daisy. So, no, we have literally no other ideas. And no, we don't know the gender. I think people think we're hiding it.
Yeah.
We don't know the gender of this baby hippo calf. I don't think you understand how hard ultrasounds are to get a clear image on a hippo in general, and then to see the gender is nearly impossible. And
BB's skin is so thick.
Yeah, it's 2 inches thick. We're going through abdominal muscles and fat and organs and everything, and also male genitalia is internal, so it's not like there's anything super obvious for us to find down there. So no, we're lucky. Those feet shots that we have were my favorite thing ever, and we got to see the baby feet kicking, but that was even lucky to get that.
This question I see a lot when I post it on Instagram. Do the hippos, are you worried they're going to choke on their food? Because we give them huge...
I've never seen that one.
Really? We do it all the time. When we give them big watermelons or pumpkins, people are very worried about. Which obviously we're not going to give them something that's dangerous, but...
Interesting. Yeah, so obviously anyone or any mammal or anything could probably choke on if you, I don't know, don't chew it correctly or something. But so hippo mouths are giant, of course, at the opening, but just like us, their throat gets smaller. They have teeth that they're chewing it up, and a watermelon can't get stuck back there, just the way their anatomy works and the size of everything. So I've never worried about that, and I don't think anyone really needs to. But it is a tricky thing. They're smashing a whole watermelon or a pumpkin, but then they just usually go underwater and chew it up, and half of it, floats away, and then Fiona gets it, or they get it later. But
isn't there bite force
oh my gosh,
you were telling me, I don't remember the
exact. It's 1800 psi, so they have the strongest of any mammal bite force.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, they're very dangerous. Ours don't seem dangerous, but they are.
Gavin wanted to know what our heaviest animal is.
I don't have the actual number, but I would assume it's Sabu, our male
guess.
Asian elephant.
Yeah.
If it's not him, then maybe Shotzi. She's a really, really large female. And I actually was really lucky and worked in the elephant house for a while as a seasonal, and I want to say she was over 9,000 pounds. Yeah. So I don't know what she is currently or what he is currently, but between 9,000 and 11,000 pounds, I bet.
Yeah.
Sabu is.
And Tucker's only 4,000?
Yeah. So, he's just breached 4,400 pounds. So double Tucker. Yeah. And our male giraffe, the largest one we had was only 2,200 pounds. And then rhinos are usually in the 1,500s to 2,000. So it's got to be an elephant, Shotzi or Sabu.
I volunteered at Elephant once, and I made it 2 weeks. It was so hard.
There's a lot of shoveling.
It was too much. I was too weak. I couldn't do it. They're tough.
She loves elephants, but she wants to share their story rather than clean up.
I
Totally
did try.
fine.
I did try. I like this question. Madeline asked, "What's it like at the zoo? The vibes."
Oh gosh. I think one of the coolest parts about working at the zoo is it's not like a regular office, right? Oh my gosh, I should have you answer this because Angela has the best office vibes of anyone, anywhere. Like, you guys have so much fun. But I think the coolest part is we can be outside. You know, some days that means we're all grumpier, like today when it's like a real feel of 110 degrees and we're sweating, or it's like a beautiful day and we're all just walking around and enjoying it. But mostly it's all good vibes. And of course there's animals to look at and so many things to like excite you. So the zoo is a really fun and pretty relaxed place to work. Like we're lucky that our management, likes to have fun too and sees the, cool experiences that our guests get to have. They think we should have those too, obviously, as long as we're getting our work done. And it's a really cool place. But Angela and her coworkers have lots of fun.
We have a lot of fun.
They play pranks. They dress up. Like,
I don't like the pranks. I don't like
jealous.
being scared, but that is a huge thing in our office. We've scared you before.
Well, yeah. Did you?
We tried.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, did you actually scare me? I can't
tried.
even remember at this point.
All right. This question is the zoo a 1 or 2 day adventure?
So you could definitely make it a 2-day adventure. But I think if you started early and you had the energy, you could see it all in a day for sure. And it kind of depends on the type of person or visitor that you are. Mm-hmm. For example, my mom loves to stop and read every single sign and watch the animal for a long time. But if you're like, the animal's not really doing anything, I'll move on. You could definitely have it done in half a day. Or like I said, if you like to sit and just enjoy the animals and watch them, you could definitely find enough to do in 2 days for sure. But I would say on average it's about like a 6-hour probably trip if you want to see everything. But if you're just like doing a loop and walking around, definitely 2 hours.
All right, let's see here. This person is asking, is it hard, like what animals are hardest to give medicine to? They need tips for hard patients.
That's funny. It's definitely department by department. Somebody else could give a more accurate answer, but I would like to go ahead and guess primates are often because they're just so smart and they're so human-like. If you're trying to give it to them orally and they taste something bad, they're most likely going to spit it out. Mm-hmm. And then the ones that are most food motivated, like hippos, for example, are probably the easiest, but the smarter ones and the pickier ones are usually the hardest to medicate. So things that we do here is actually train and reward. So I don't know what kind of patients, what ages you're working with, but if you could convince them like, hey, if you take this pain pill or this antibiotic right now, then you can go for a walk around the hall, or you can, I don't know, have your friends visit. I have no idea what kind of reinforcement. Yeah, what reinforcement you can give to a patient and what kind of patients they are. Maybe it's like you go get them their favorite snack, or you promise to leave them alone for 3 hours or something. I have no idea. But reinforcement, so we can ask an animal to take a pill and then give them their favorite food. We can hide it and mask it in something that they don't normally get. So, primates may not normally get Gatorade, but it's a fun treat for them. So you can put powder in and mix it up, and then they get to take the Gatorade. So definitely training with positive reinforcement afterwards, or just kind of trying to find them their favorite food and hiding it in there is sometimes what we have to do for sure. And our department, I would say the trickiest, it would just probably be like the pickier birds that are smaller, that sort of thing. But like our meerkats, they'll take anything in a meatball because they just really love food.
That's so cute. All right. Spencer wants to know, how much food do the animals go through in one day?
Oh, that's a tough question to answer because there's so many different types of animals.
Maybe just ones that you take care of.
Yeah. So, for example, like the hippos are, the girls, our females, Bibi and Fiona, are eating about 40 pounds of food a day. That includes hay, grain, and produce. Tucker gets 36 pounds of hay on his own, so he's getting about 55 pounds of food a day. And then we have something like as small as our guinea fowl that are just sharing, a couple 100 grams worth of like grain made for them, and also like lettuce and egg or corn on the cob. Or our cockroaches, they only eat 3 times a week. No, they can eat all the time. we trade out their food every other day, and so they're getting like, just little apple slices, and Angela made a face at that. But then we have manatees that are actually the most expensive animals to feed here at the zoo, and they go through cases and cases and cases of different types of lettuce every day. So they're the most expensive and getting probably potentially the most poundage, even more than elephants, maybe. I don't know the exact numbers, unfortunately, for that question.
I knew the manatees were the most expensive to feed. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. I'm the pickiest eater.
You are the
I'll be the
pickiest
easiest to feed.
I'm the least picky eater.
All right. Chuck wants to know, what is the most interesting animal and the most popular animal? It's kind of opinion-based, but
For sure. Most popular, though, like, we can't even try and deny it, is Fiona. She might be the most popular animal in the world. Like,
and we can't make up what she does.
No.
Like, we'll just be standing there and she, like, does 100 ear wiggles at once, or, like, I don't know.
Or finds somebody who wants to take a picture and poses with them. Like, she just...
Like the engagement, the proposal.
Yes. She's like, oh, you want a special moment? I'll help. I'll be here.
She, like, finds the camera and just goes to it.
So she's definitely the most popular. What was the other question?
The most interesting.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely, like, opinion-based.
Yeah. I will say, my coworker Amy would say the Guam rail.
Oh.
And they're extinct in their native habitat.
Yes.
But we have them here at the zoo.
What makes them the most interesting? Do they have cool behaviors, or she just thinks that they're...
Yeah, I think because they're just so, like, they're not found in the wild anymore, because I want to say that the snakes... They're ground birds, so like snakes took them out.
Oh, wow.
And so I think we're trying to do like reintroduction things with that species, but that for her, or the leafcutter ants.
Oh, the leafcutter ants are so interesting. Yeah. I've spent like 45 minutes with my mom, who loves to read these things, like talking to one of the like exhibit guards and learning about them and watching them. They are really fascinating. Yeah. Those are good. Yeah, I'm glad you brought those up. And we should probably do an episode on both of those species.
I agree.
I think our painted dogs are, just as a species as a whole, are very, very interesting, which we need to do an episode on them as well.
Yeah. All right. What animal causes the most trouble? Sarah wants to know.
Oh, gosh. In our department, it's easily Bubba the vulture.
Really?
Yeah. I've always loved him, and he's always so cute and curious. And as he gets older, and we brought in another... Rupel's griffin vulture for him to have a buddy, not a mate, but they're both boys, but they build nests together, and if you get near their nest, Bubba will bite you. So you have to be on alert and make sure you are being careful and watching him, but he's just being really protective, and it's the cutest thing in the world to watch them. They gather sticks, and then they just push them around in weird like ways and kind of make these horrible, like, not great nest. Like, no egg would actually sit in there. And he causes... And then, like, so if you are trying to feed another bird, like Icky or Saddlebow's stork, he'll come over and try and steal her food, and you have to, like... We have to have a babysitter kind of when Bubba's around and you're feeding another animal. He'll hop up in the wheelbarrow and just, like, take sticks and poop out that you just cleaned up and put in there. So he's one of my very favorites, but probably the most troublesome.
I think our kangaroos are troublesome, too.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're always looking to get into where the little blue penguins are.
Oh, no way. They're like, I would like
they
to
just, like, look in the door and try. Like, so we have to have, like, a keeper or someone there stationed so they don't. Which, I guess, I don't know if it would
Maybe
be
they
bad.
should go back there and look at the penguins.
Right?
Enrichment.
Exactly. That kind of goes with that. Enrichment, how do you collectively keep the animals happy? Someone asked.
Yeah, so that's, like, looking at the animal as a whole and their natural, like, history, basically. Where do they live? What do they eat? How do they survive? What are their family groups like? And we try and imitate that as best as we can. So sometimes people will see an orangutan by themselves and they get sad or upset with us, and it's like, no, they are solitary animals, and sometimes if you try and force it, they're actually more upset if you give them a partner to live with. So looking at all of those things, and enrichment is one of the most fun ways and obvious. Sometimes you might see something a little weird in a habitat, like with meerkats, we'll just recycle plastic bottles and cut little holes in them and put bugs in and then screw the cap back on. And then the meerkats have to like stick their little arms in and pull the bugs out or roll it around. So that's something natural. They would be digging into little crevices and termite mounds and holes for grubs and such. So it doesn't look natural, but it's a natural behavior that we're doing to make sure that they live happy, healthy lives. We have a nutritionist here that looks into all of their diets, and that's one of the reasons that hippos don't get watermelons every day.
Yeah,
we have to follow the diet to make sure they stay healthy.
Yes, they stay healthy.
So
we would ask too much of that if they could. We'd be like, can we do it again
every day?
Yeah.
So we're following strict diet plans. We're giving them nutritionally complete diets, making sure they have veterinary care, making sure they're living with the right type of other animals, either the same as themselves or mixed species habitat is one of the best ways to give animals enrichment and like a natural life. So that's why I love our savannah so much. But yeah, there's so much that we do, and we're always looking into it and trying to do better by them.
That was hard for me to understand when I started here, that some animals prefer to be alone, because I just cannot relate to that. Like, I do not like being alone, so I'm like, I don't understand. Like, but they, like the black rhino kind of likes to be alone, and yeah,
and they'll actually, go after each other sometimes depending on the species.
Yeah.
If a male approaches a female and she doesn't want him around, like.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Claire was wondering, this is a good question, what kind of conservation do you do for the native species of the area?
Yeah, so we actually do quite a bit. And again, this is just like one of those episodes where we're just giving you brief answers, and I would love to do a whole episode on our Plant for Pollinators program. So we're working to boost pollinator populations by doing beekeeping. We restore pollinator habitat. We're propagating pollinator-friendly plants at our off-site Boyer property, which is 600 acres. We're like reforming that wetlands area. There are thousands and thousands of tadpoles and frogs and snakes and then of course different plant species out there. And that's a really cool property where we're literally like growing plants and learning about them and providing food for other pollinators by doing those things. So that's something we're doing for native species for sure. And then we have, if you go to our website, there's different options like how to make shelters for certain birds or bat boxes and owl homes and things like that you could do to help with, our native wildlife. And then we do have like beekeeping, and I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And, honeybees are responsible for pollinating, I think, like a third or more of our the food that we eat.
Yeah.
So without honeybees around, we won't have food to eat. So we're definitely looking into bees and all sorts of things. But yeah, we'll do an episode on that to answer that like further in the future.
This is an easy one. Maeve just wanted a shout out from you.
Hi, Maeve. Thanks for, I don't know if you're a listener because this was Instagram.
Yeah,
hopefully she listens.
Yeah.
And thank you if you do. Let us know what you want to hear about.
Do you have time for 2 more questions?
Sure, let's do 2 more.
Okay, they're kind of related. This one is, when is the best time to see the red pandas? Do you know this?
Oh, I got to work with them way back in the day when I was in Wildlife Canyon, but I have not worked with them since, 2013 or so. But they are diurnal, so they're typically awake during the day, but they sleep a lot. So to say that, it doesn't mean you're going to see them a ton. But obviously the cooler months. So if you're here in the winter, which we are open year round, Festival of Lights is one of my favorite times to come to the zoo, and it's not the best time to see animals, but it's amazing and beautiful, and it just feels like the holidays kind of.
Yeah.
But the red pandas are going to be one of those animals, or if you come before it's dark, you can definitely see them because they like the colder weather. But if I were going to guess, I would say early morning, first thing, or probably closer to 3:30 and on is usually when a lot of animals get fed, so they're up and active too. I don't know if you walk by them often, if you've noticed a specific time.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think for most of the animals, it's late afternoon or really early in the morning. And that was the second question, just best time of day to see all of the animals. But Fiona especially is late afternoon, right?
Yeah, so a lot of times people come in the mornings, especially if they're members, they want to get in right away. And that is a good time, but kind of depending on our mornings, for example, if I'm working our dog lion routine, I'm going to do one of those first, right? So I might put the painted dogs out around 8 a.m. and they're going to be active until 9. But in the meantime, I'm doing lions and the painted dogs are sleeping by the time the zoo opens.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on how early you can get here. But honestly, it's so nice to be here at the end of the day. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to ruin the secret. But the crowds die down and the animals are usually pretty active because a lot of animals are crepuscular, meaning they're most active at dawn and dusk, and also it kind of goes with their keeper schedules. Most of us are leaving anywhere between 3:30 and 6:30, so they're getting fed in that time range, so they're kind of up and active and waiting for food too. Cool. Are there any more questions you wanted to do, or did anything else you want to tell us about your job, or?
My job is just so fun, and I get to know everyone in the zoo and see all of the animals, and just follow us on all the social media platforms. I think we're on like almost all of them. So
yeah, probably more than I even know about.
Yeah.
I'm not a Twitter user. I don't know much about that.
Yeah, it's fun. You should go on there. But no, I think that was pretty good. There's a lot of questions about career, and I think we should do another episode just about that. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining.
Yeah,
You're
thanks
lucky
for having me.
I don't have trivia for you.
I mean, I would be so bad.
Mark would be like, "Oh my gosh, we would probably
I'm much
both be
better
bad."
than when I first met you.
Yeah,
Because I was like
animal
afraid
facts.
to be the giraffe. Oh yeah, and about animal facts.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I've seen little kids afraid of giraffe. I don't know why people would be afraid of giraffe. What were you afraid of?
I didn't know if it was going to bite me or not, but now that I've done the giraffe feeding and I realize they're very chill. They're very nice.
Yes, they definitely are. Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I did have one more question for you. I forgot. Jenna, no one ever gets to ask you this. What can you do? What can you do for conservation?
Yes. The one episode Mark interviewed me, we forgot all about it. So I would love to answer. What can I do? Okay.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, one of my favorite things that's just really easy, it's a one-time purchase for sure, but something that I feel like I'm making somewhat of a difference, not in like an animal's life, but as far as my waste and usage of things, specifically paper towels, is I bought these, they're called on-paper towels.
Okay.
And so basically they send you, and this is something if you're crafty you could make yourself. So these on-paper towels are basically just like a thin piece of fabric, like a cloth napkin, but they're thinner than that and they're not as fancy. And you like can wrap them around a roll like you would of paper towels.
Yeah.
And so rather than using a million paper towels, for example, to clean up my toddler after he eats, I use these on-paper towels, which is essentially like a thin rag, but they're cute and, nicer than a rag and fit on a paper towel holder, that sort of thing. So, and I, can just wipe him down with that and throw it in the laundry and reuse it for years. Like I've had mine for years. So it just saves, first of all, money and then less waste. So I only buy paper towels like a couple times a year and I use them when I have like messes that are really gross or something. But otherwise I just use the on-paper towel. So that is my one. I always have a million ideas. And that's the first one that came to my head. But
that's a good one.
Yeah, something I don't think we've talked about before, but something you could do, and you could even, like I said, make your own or make your own version, or just try to use cloth napkins rather than paper ones or something at home. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for answering. That was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. I'm sad I don't have trivia for you, but
better.
Thanks for filling in for Mark, sort of, and just kind of making a different episode. And thanks for producing these and making them happen.
You're welcome. It's fun. I've learned a lot.
All right, well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode. Have a wonderful day.